There is a battle happening inside you. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. And the most important thing you need to understand is this. Your biggest competition is not the person next to you. It is not the person with more money. It is not the person with more followers. It is not the person who started before you. It is not the person who seems more successful. Your biggest competition is you. The version of you that keeps making excuses. The version of you that says, tomorrow. The version of you that knows what needs to be done but still chooses comfort. The version of you that starts strong and quits when things become difficult. The version of you that wants success but refuses to become the person capable of handling it. That is the real battle. You versus you. And every single day, you choose a winner. Every morning when you wake up, you are given another opportunity. You can become slightly stronger or slightly weaker. You can move forward or remain where you are. You can keep your promises to yourself or break them again. Nobody else has to know. Nobody else has to see it. But you know. You know when you avoid the work. You know when you waste your time. You know when you make excuses. And you also know when you push through. You know when you refuse to quit. You know when you do something difficult, even though you don't feel like doing it. That is where your transformation begins. Not when everybody starts believing in you. Not when everything becomes easy. Not when you finally get the perfect opportunity. Your transformation begins when you decide to stop fighting everybody else and start fighting the weaker version of yourself. You don't need to beat everybody. Listen carefully. You do not need to be better than everybody. You don't need to have the best life in the room. You don't need to prove that you're smarter. You don't need to prove that you're stronger. You don't need to prove that you're more successful. Because comparison can become a trap. Someone will always have more. Someone will always be ahead in one area. Someone will always have something you don't have. And if your happiness depends on being ahead of everyone else, you will never have peace. Instead, ask yourself, am I better than I was yesterday? That is the question. Did you learn something? Did you improve your discipline? Did you become more focused? Did you control your emotions better? Did you spend your time more wisely? Did you take one step toward your goal? If the answer is yes, then you are winning. Maybe nobody noticed. Maybe nobody congratulated you. Maybe nobody even knows what you accomplished. It doesn't matter. Because this battle was never supposed to be for applause. It was supposed to be for your future. The old you. There is an old version of you. A version that has made mistakes. A version that has wasted time. A version that has been afraid. A version that has doubted itself. A version that has listened to negative voices. A version that has quit. But here's something important. You are not required to remain that person. Your past may explain you, but it does not have to control you. Wasted months. Maybe you wasted years. Maybe you made decisions you regret. Maybe you trusted the wrong people. Maybe you didn't take opportunities seriously. Maybe you didn't believe in yourself. Fine. Learn from it. But don't build your identity around it. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to become disciplined. You are allowed to become focused. You are allowed to start again. Your previous mistakes are not a life sentence. They are lessons. And the person you become from those lessons matters more than the mistakes themselves. The old you says, I can't. The new you says, I'll learn. The old you says, I'm tired. The new you says, I'll rest, then continue. The old you says, nobody believes in me. The new you says, I will believe in myself until my results speak. The old you says, it's too hard. The new you says, then I'll become stronger. That is the difference. Not talent, not luck. Identity. Stop waiting to feel ready. One of the biggest lies you can tell yourself is, I'll start when I'm ready. You may never feel ready. The first step is usually uncomfortable. Starting a business is uncomfortable. Learning a skill is uncomfortable. Going back to studying is uncomfortable. Working on your dream is uncomfortable. Changing your habits is uncomfortable. Why? Because you're entering unfamiliar territory. Your brain likes what it already knows. Comfort feels safe. But growth rarely happens inside complete comfort. You have to be willing to feel uncomfortable while doing something meaningful. You don't need confidence before you begin. Sometimes confidence comes because you began. You take the first step, then another, and eventually you look back and realize, I can actually do this. Confidence is often built through evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you create evidence. Every workout completed, every page studied, every project finished, every distraction ignored, every difficult task completed. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you tell your brain, I am someone who follows through. And that belief becomes powerful. Discipline beats motivation. Motivation is useful, but motivation is temporary. Some days you will feel unstoppable. Other days you won't want to do anything. That's normal. The question is, what do you do when motivation disappears? That's where discipline begins. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when your emotions are not cooperating. It doesn't mean destroying yourself. It doesn't mean never resting. It doesn't mean being perfect. It means learning to keep important commitments to yourself. You don't have to do everything, but you need to do something consistently. Small actions compound. One page becomes a chapter. One workout becomes a routine. 1 hour of focused work becomes a skill. One good decision becomes a habit. One habit becomes a lifestyle. And eventually, your lifestyle creates your results. People often want dramatic transformation, but real transformation is usually boring. It's repetitive. It's quiet. It's doing the basics again and again. Nobody celebrates the 1,000th time you practice. Nobody applauds every morning you stay focused. But those ordinary moments create extraordinary results. Your phone is not your future. Look around. You have access to more information than people in previous generations could imagine. You can learn almost anything. You can read, you can study, you can practice, you can create, you can communicate. But the same device that gives you opportunity can also steal your attention. A few minutes become an hour becomes an evening becomes another day. And suddenly you ask, where did my time go? Your attention is valuable. Protect it. You don't need to delete everything you enjoy. You don't need to disappear from the world. But you need to decide when you are consuming and when you are creating. There is a difference between entertainment and progress. There is a difference between watching someone build a life and building your own. You can watch motivation all day, but eventually you have to turn the screen off. You have to stand up. You have to do the work. Because a motivational video cannot change your life by itself. Your actions can. Use motivation as fuel. Then move. There comes a point where you have to take responsibility, not blame. Responsibility. Your circumstances may not be your fault, but your next decision is still yours. You cannot control everything. You cannot control what other people think. You cannot control every opportunity. You cannot control the past. But you can control what you do next. That is powerful. Because if you believe your life depends completely on external circumstances, you become powerless. But when you say, what can I do with what I have? You regain control. Maybe you don't have everything you want. Okay, what do you have? Time, a mind, the ability to learn, the ability to practice, the ability to make decisions, the ability to improve. Start there. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions rarely arrive. Your future self is watching. Imagine yourself several years from now. Not as some fantasy. Just imagine a stronger, wiser version of you. That version of you looks back at today. What would they want you to do? Would they want you to keep making excuses? Would they want you to spend another year procrastinating? Would they want you to keep doubting yourself? Or would they want you to begin? Every decision you make today becomes part of your future. The future isn't created in one giant moment. It is created through thousands of small decisions. What you eat, what you watch, what you study, who you listen to, how you spend your mornings, how you respond to failure, what you do when nobody is watching. These things matter. You are building a person, and that person is you. Stop negotiating with your weakness. There will always be a voice inside you saying, just 5 more minutes. I'll do it later. Today doesn't matter. I'll start Monday. One more episode, one more scroll, and sometimes those little decisions become patterns. The problem isn't one lazy day. Everyone needs rest. The problem is when rest becomes avoidance. Learn the difference. Rest because your body needs recovery. Pause because you have a genuine reason. But don't use comfort as an excuse to avoid your responsibilities. Sometimes you need to tell yourself, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. Because you are forcing yourself to suffer. But because you are teaching yourself that your goals are bigger than temporary feelings. You will have bad days. Don't expect every day to be productive. You will have bad days. You will make mistakes. You will lose focus. You will sometimes feel disappointed. That's part of being human. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is recovery. A strong person isn't someone who never falls off track. A strong person is someone who knows how to return. If you miss one day, don't turn it into a week. If you make one mistake, don't turn it into your identity. If something doesn't work, learn from it. Then, continue. Never let one bad chapter convince you that the entire story is over. You still have pages left. Failure is information. Failure hurts. Nobody likes it. But failure can teach you things success cannot. Failure tells you what didn't work. It exposes weaknesses. It forces you to rethink. It can make you more patient. It can make you more prepared. The wrong response to failure is, I'm a failure. The better response is, that attempt failed. What can I learn? There is a huge difference. Your result is not your identity. You can fail at something without being a failure. You can lose without being a loser. You can struggle without being weak. You can start again. The strongest people are not people who never experience setbacks. They are people who refuse to let setbacks become their final destination. Your environment matters. You become influenced by what surrounds you. The conversations you hear, the content you consume, the people you spend time with, the habits you see every day. This doesn't mean you should hate people who live differently. It means you should become intentional. Ask yourself, does my environment support the person I'm trying to become? If you want focus, but constantly surround yourself with distraction, that's a problem. If you want growth, but constantly consume negativity, that's a problem. If you want discipline, but celebrate excuses, that's a problem. You don't have to become isolated. You simply need boundaries. Protect your goals. Protect your attention. Protect your peace. Stop announcing everything. You don't have to tell everyone what you're planning. Sometimes the best thing you can do is quietly work. People don't need to hear every goal. They don't need to know every strategy. They don't need updates every day. Let your actions speak. Let your consistency speak. Let your results speak. There is something powerful about working quietly. You don't need applause to continue. You don't need approval to improve. You don't need everyone to understand. Sometimes you have to walk a path that other people don't understand. That's okay. Your life is yours. The price of distraction. Everything has a price, and distraction has a price too. Every hour you spend doing something meaningless is an hour you cannot use somewhere else. Time doesn't return. Money can return. Opportunities can return. You can rebuild many things, but yesterday does not come back. That's why you need to become serious about your attention. Ask yourself, is this helping the person I want to become? If yes, continue. If not, reduce it. You don't have to become obsessed with productivity. Life is not a productivity competition. Enjoy life. Spend time with people you care about. Rest. Have fun. But don't let entertainment consume the life you are supposed to be building. Balance matters. You versus your excuses. Your excuses are clever. They sound reasonable. I'm too busy. I don't have enough resources. I don't know enough. I'll start later. Sometimes these things contain truth. Maybe you really are busy. Maybe resources are limited. Maybe you don't know enough. But here's the question. What can you do anyway? You don't need to solve your entire life today. You only need the next step. If you can't do an hour, do 20 minutes. If you can't master the subject, learn one concept. If you can't finish the entire project, complete one section. If you can't see the entire road, take the next step. Progress doesn't require perfect conditions. It requires movement. The power of small wins. Never underestimate small wins. A small win proves something. You studied when you didn't want to. You completed your task. You kept your promise. You practiced. You said no to a distraction. You chose patience. These moments matter. Because you're not just completing tasks, you're building trust with yourself. Think about that. When you repeatedly promise yourself something and don't do it, your confidence in yourself can weaken. But when you keep your promises, even small ones, you rebuild that trust. So start small, make realistic commitments, then keep them. Tell yourself, today I will do this one thing. Then do it. Tomorrow, repeat. Soon you will have a pattern, and patterns create identity. Don't rush your journey. Everyone has a different timeline. Some people succeed early. Some people succeed later. Some people discover their direction quickly. Others need time. Don't let someone else's timeline make you hate your own story. You don't know what they experienced. You don't know what advantages or challenges they had. And they don't know yours. Focus on your lane. Your job is not to become someone else. Your job is to become the strongest, wisest, most disciplined version of yourself. Your journey may take time. Let it. Good things can take time. Skills take time. Character takes time. Trust takes time. Growth takes time. Don't destroy your progress because you are impatient with the process. Build before you show. There is a temptation to show progress immediately. You learn something for 3 days and want everyone to know. You start a project and want applause. You make a plan and announce it. But sometimes attention can become a distraction. Build first. Become consistent first. Let the foundation become strong. Then share when it makes sense. You don't need to prove every step. Your life doesn't need to be a performance. Some of the most important growth happens privately. When nobody is watching, when nobody is impressed, when there is no reward. That's where character is built. Your mindset changes everything. Two people can experience the same obstacle and respond completely differently. One says, "Why me?" The other says, "What can I learn?" One says, "This is impossible." The other says, "How can I solve it?" One sees a dead end, the other looks for another path. The situation may be the same. The mindset is different, but you can train how you respond. That is emotional strength. You don't have to pretend everything is good. You don't have to ignore difficult emotions. You simply don't let temporary emotions make every important decision for you. Pause, think, then act. Become hard to distract. Imagine becoming someone who can sit down and focus. No constant checking. No endless scrolling. No jumping between tasks. Just focused work. That ability is becoming rare, and because it is rare, it is valuable. Train your attention. Start with short periods. Choose one task. Remove unnecessary distractions. Work take a break, then return. Over time, your ability to focus can improve. And when you can focus, you can learn faster. When you learn faster, you can improve faster. When you improve faster, you can create better opportunities. Focus is not everything, but without focus, your potential can remain scattered. Keep your promises. Make fewer promises. Keep more of them. If you tell yourself you're going to do something, try to follow through. Don't make impossible promises. Don't say, tomorrow I'll completely change my life. Instead, tomorrow I'll take one meaningful step. Then take it. You don't need dramatic statements. You need consistency. The person you trust most should be yourself. And that trust is earned through action. Chapter 20. You don't need permission. Some people wait for permission to become who they want to be. They wait for someone to say, "You're good enough. You can do it. I believe in you." Support is wonderful, but sometimes it won't come, and you still have to move. You can respect advice without allowing other people's opinions to control your entire life. Listen, learn, think, then decide on external approval. At some point, you have to say, "I believe this is worth pursuing, and I'm going to give it an honest effort." The days nobody sees. There will be days when nobody notices your effort. You work, nothing happens. You practice, no immediate result. You improve, nobody compliments you. These days test you, because when there is no applause, you discover your real reason. Why are you doing this? If your only reason is attention, you may quit. But if your reason is growth, you continue. If your reason is building a better future, you continue. If your reason is becoming proud of the person you are becoming, you continue. Learn to work without applause, because sometimes the most important progress happens before anyone notices. Your future requires sacrifice. You cannot have everything at once. If you want more focus, you may need less distraction. If you want to learn a skill, you may need to spend time practicing. If you want to build something, you may need to say no to some invitations. This is not punishment, it's prioritization. Every yes is also a no to something else. When you say yes to scrolling for hours, you're saying no to that time for another purpose. When you say yes to practice, you're saying no to some other activity. Your choices have opportunity costs, so choose intentionally. Ask, what matters most right now? Then protect it. Stop looking for the perfect plan. Planning matters, but over-planning can become procrastination. You research, you watch videos, you buy notebooks, you make schedules, you create another plan. And still, you haven't started. At some point, action must begin. You can adjust while moving. Your first attempt doesn't have to be perfect. Start, learn, improve, repeat. That's how real progress happens. When you feel behind, maybe you feel behind. Maybe you look at other people and think, they are already there. I'm still here. Take a breath. You are not watching the full story. You're watching a highlight. And even if someone truly is ahead, that doesn't mean your journey is over. You can start today. You can improve today. You can learn today. Your past doesn't need to become an excuse for your future. Maybe you wish you had started earlier. That's okay. You can't go back, but you can start now. And 1 year from now, you'll either be glad you began, or you'll wish you had. The day you decide. There will be a day when something changes. Not because the world changes, because you change. You stop asking, can I? And start asking, how? You stop waiting, you start moving. You stop explaining, you start executing. You stop seeking approval, you start building. You stop fighting everyone else, you start fighting your own limitations. That is the day the battle becomes different. It becomes you versus you. And every morning becomes another round. Your habits are casting votes. Every action is like a vote for the person you're becoming. When you practice, you vote for becoming skilled. When you study, you vote for becoming knowledgeable. When you exercise appropriately, you vote for taking care of your health. When you sleep properly, you vote for recovery. When you waste hours repeatedly, you vote for distraction. No single action defines you, but repeated actions create patterns, and patterns become powerful. So ask yourself, what kind of person are my daily habits creating? Don't just ask what you want. Is currently producing. Your goals tell you where you want to go. Your habits tell you where you're actually heading. Don't fear starting small. Everyone wants a big beginning, but small beginnings are normal. A successful creator starts with one video. A skilled person starts as a beginner. A writer starts with one paragraph. A learner starts with one concept. A business begins with an idea and a first customer. Don't disrespect small beginnings. The first version may be imperfect. That's okay. The goal of the first version is not perfection. It's existence. Then you improve. Then you learn. Then you make version 2. Then version 3. Eventually, what looks small becomes significant. The real flex is self-control. People often think power means controlling others. Real strength is controlling yourself, controlling your reactions, controlling your attention, controlling your spending, controlling your time, controlling your words, controlling your impulses. Not perfectly, but increasingly. You don't need to react to everything. You don't need to answer every insult. You don't need to chase every trend. You don't need to accept every invitation. You can pause and choose. That ability is freedom. Your inner voice. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm useless, I can't do anything, I'll never improve," those thoughts can influence your behavior. You don't need fake positivity. You need realistic encouragement. Instead of, "I'm perfect," say, "I'm learning." Instead of, "I can do everything," say, "I can improve." Instead of, "I'll never fail," say, "If I fail, I'll learn and continue." That is stronger because it is grounded in reality. Your life is built in ordinary moments. Most transformation doesn't look dramatic. It looks like waking up, making your bed, studying, working, practicing, helping someone, taking care of yourself, going to sleep, repeating, again, and again, and again. People want a breakthrough, but breakthroughs are often built on boring consistency. Don't underestimate ordinary days. Your ordinary Tuesday might be building the foundation for an extraordinary future. You versus your fear. Fear will always have something to say. What if you fail? What if people laugh? What if it doesn't work? You can answer, what if it does? What if you learn? What if you improve? What if you discover something you didn't know you could do? Fear doesn't always mean stop. Sometimes fear simply means, this matters to me. You can acknowledge fear without obeying it. Take reasonable steps. Ask for help when needed. Learn, prepare, then move. Courage isn't having no fear. It's choosing meaningful action despite uncertainty. The last person you need to convince. You don't need to convince everybody. You need to convince yourself through action, not words. Action. That you can be consistent. Show yourself that you can learn. Show yourself that you can recover. Show yourself that you can make better decisions. The more evidence you create, the stronger your belief becomes. And eventually, you stop saying, I hope I can. You start saying, I've done hard things before. I can handle the next step. There will be moments when quitting feels easier. Maybe the progress is slow. Maybe the results aren't visible. Maybe you're tired. Take a break if you genuinely need one. But don't confuse a temporary pause with permanent surrender. Sometimes you need to change your strategy. Sometimes you need to ask for help. Sometimes you need to rest. Sometimes you need to start again. But don't throw away your entire goal because one approach didn't work. Change the method. Keep the lesson. Continue. You versus you. Now listen carefully. Forget everyone else for a moment. Forget the comparison. Forget the noise. Forget who is ahead. Forget who is behind. Forget who believes in you. Forget who doesn't. Look at yourself. Look at the person standing at the beginning of this journey. That person has potential. That person has time. That person has mistakes. That person has fear. That person has dreams. And that person has a choice. Every day. A choice between comfort and growth. Between distraction and focus. Between excuses and responsibility. Between quitting and continuing. Between the old identity and the new one. Nobody can make that choice for you. You can receive advice. You can receive support. You can receive opportunities. But eventually, you have to choose. Choose to become better. Not perfect. Better. One decision at a time. One habit at a time. One mistake at a time. One lesson at a time. One step at a time. And when you fail, stand back up. When you're confused, learn. When you're tired, rest responsibly. When you're afraid, move carefully, but keep moving. When nobody believes in you, don't turn that into hatred. Turn it into patience. Build quietly, grow steadily. Stay humble. Keep learning. And remember, the goal was never to defeat everyone else. The goal was to defeat the version of yourself that keeps holding you back. The lazy version, the distracted version, the fearful version, the excuse-making version, the version that keeps saying tomorrow. You don't have to destroy that version, you have to outgrow it every day. And one day, you'll look back. You'll remember the person who almost gave up, the person who doubted, the person who procrastinated, the person who didn't know what the future would look like. And you'll realize that person kept going. That person chose another day, another attempt, another lesson, another step. And that's why you're here. So from this moment forward, stop asking who is ahead of you. Ask, am I ahead of yesterday's version of me? Stop asking who believes in you. Ask, am I becoming someone I can believe in? Stop asking when your life will change. Ask, what can I change today? Stop waiting for motivation. Build discipline. Stop waiting for confidence. Build evidence. Stop waiting for permission. Take responsibility. Stop chasing comparison. Build your own path. And stop fighting everyone else. Because the real battle is much closer. It's inside you. You versus you. And every day, you get another round. So make today's version of you stronger than yesterday's. Make tomorrow's version stronger than today's. Keep learning, keep growing, keep moving, keep building, keep becoming. Because your greatest competition isn't the person across the room. It's not the person on the internet. It's not the person who has more than you. Your greatest competition is the person you could become if you finally stopped getting in your own way. That person is waiting, not for perfection, not for a miracle, not for permission, just for a decision. Choose yourself, choose growth, choose discipline, choose patience, choose consistency, choose action. And when the world gets loud, come back to the simple mission. Become better than you were yesterday. That's it. One day, one choice, one step, one battle, you versus you. And this time, don't quit on yourself.